Okay, so I added more to my Bitcoin swing trade today. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to show you guys why I added more, and I only added a little bit more to increase the position size. I'm going to get into more detail. We're going to go over the charts. I'm going to explain to you guys what I'm looking for, just my own personal opinion, and what I am setting up for going forward, right? The whole purpose of taking these positions. So before we do get started, though, it's a good idea to understand the micro, or not the macro economic situation we got, right? So I'm not going to go over tariffs too much. We know that tariffs, there is progress being made. We're waiting on more detail. Nothing is set just yet, but we do have a lot of promising details coming out. We will see how that evolves, and rather it's going to be a whole lot of hype that turns into nothing, or if we're going to see finally like genuine progression being made. But when it comes to CPI, we all know I haven't talked about CPI in a while. We recently had some numbers that came out, but CPI is at 2.4%. It went up a little bit from 2.3, but it didn't really go up a whole lot, and we're going down quite a bit. And if you guys have been paying attention to the numbers, the actual tariffs that have been here for like over a month now have not really had a large impact on prices. So this is very, very good. Although if you guys look at the possibilities on rate cuts, it's pretty much zero that there's gonna be a rate cut. And Jerome Powell is most likely, in my opinion, is gonna keep saying he wants to be patient and he wants to wait for more evidence. But this is very good that we're up and we're not back up to like 2.5 or higher. We're actually, we're still very, very low, and it's not aggressively going higher, but it is trending lower. And this is very, very positive, right? For especially, for a lot of money to start flowing back into these growth assets as well. Because Bitcoin is still considered a risk on asset. It's still like that. Eventually, that, in my opinion, will change in the future as the world begins to realize the importance of blockchain. But that's just my opinion either way. But let's look at the charts, right? So I added another $10,000 into my BitU swing trade. If you guys are new, basically I've been covering this for a while, and I've been wanting to add more, or I've been wanting to finally open this position and accumulate properly. And I'm gonna get into that in a moment. But I added just another 10,000. Have overall $30,000 invested into BitU right now. The whole purpose I'm investing into that specifically, and not just a regular Bitcoin ETF, is because there is a depreciation element to it. For it's not good to hold on to it for long term, but I do believe there's gonna be a lot of positive bullish volume flow into Bitcoin eventually, and throughout this year, as we continue the bull run, because I believe the bull run is still alive, and I made a video about that before, why I believe the bull market is still alive, and I'm expecting much higher prices. I believe the aggressive volume will make up for any depreciation due to leveraged ETF, and I did the same thing in 2024, and I made like a ton of money off of it. So I'm gonna do that again now, just because I believe the volume is still there. But basically, here's why I'm adding. For a while, I kept saying, I want to start this this swing trade when we're finally in deep discounted value. And I'm not gonna go over it too much, but I gave a whole lot of examples in many videos within like the last month on why what we're looking at now is very, very similar to this deep value, and how the current structure looks very similar to this one right here, which, in my opinion, will lead to much higher prices like we saw, uh, the giant boom in price towards the end of last year, and I believe we're going to see that again. But things are a little bit different now. It's mostly due to macro, environment, macro, just uh, economic stuff, just pushing a lot more positivity and bullishness into Bitcoin right now. So a lot of the positive like tariff stuff, and a lot of the investors just, it can be retail or you know institutional investing money just flowing into Bitcoin and pushing the price much higher. Seeing an overall proper retracement is starting to fade away. Now it's still possible, because I kept giving a whole lot of examples, but I'm going to basically summarize it right here. And for that swing trade, I'll show you guys what this swing trade looks like when I plan to add a whole lot more to it. And I still plan on taking short-term trading opportunities as they present themselves. Um, but I'm gonna start doing that a little bit less because I want to I really just want to focus on the overall structure than the microstructures. But I'll show you guys what that investment looks like as I continue to build it. Maybe next time I add another 10,000, it could be this week. Very much possible. We'll see. But I plan to add a lot more to it. Just 30,000 invested right now, but we're gonna build that up real quick. And basically, the reason I added is because it's an ETF. You have to buy and sell it, do your thing with it during market open hours. And the moment the moment I saw that there was enough volume to finally break below the swing low, I told myself, well, I wouldn't be surprised if overnight, we start to see the price trading within this supportive retracement area. And of course, that's exactly what happened. So it's very nice to see it actually do its thing. Right now, I believe the 30,000 K trade is pretty much flat right now. But again, the whole purpose of that one is to take advantage of much higher prices soon as we continue through this bull run. But here's the thing, right? Overall, we couldn't maximize this area before coming down to retracement into the support area. It's unfortunate, but it's still very good. It's still very positive because we had a more recent swing high broken, and we aggressively broke over this area. We went over the old all-time high, and now we're just coming down for a little bit of a breather. And this is very good. It's very healthy. It shows that Bitcoin price is trying to remain stable instead of having large, like, short-term fluctuations, large volume, which can just create very unstable structures. So it's very nice to see it approach into a resistance area. Regardless, we went into the median area, so that's absolutely fine. Especially just breaking into the 109K area plus was already good enough. So seeing it stretch up in this area into this area is very nice. We couldn't break over this swing high, but that's okay because we are coming down into a support area. Now, I went over the importance of the support area, in my opinion, on yesterday's video, but I wouldn't be surprised if we came down. There's some fluctuation within this area as the price goes up higher and the 120 moving average stretches higher as well. We're starting to see the RSI support a bullish case by now. As you can see, it's bottomed out as we're in a support area, and this is very solid. Now, this support area in orange isn't as important as the blue one. The blue one does support the overall move higher from down here to up here, so it's a more significant area to keep an eye on. It overlaps with consolidation area. It allows the price to come down and fill in some imbalance we have on the 2-hour time frame. It was filled in on the 4-hour time frame right here quite well, but it could fill it in more, which will allow the price to come down below 107K, start trading within the blue to try to find support. But regardless, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we find support here or we find support here. The idea is that we hold the overall support area around 107K, can go a little bit below it, but the idea is that we don't break below 104K. The moment we break below 104K, I would not be surprised if this purple area comes into play. And that's why I'm also being very cautious with accumulating that swing trade, because I want to still, leave more money on the side, be very conservative and very careful with Bitcoin right now, because until we have bullish confirmation, which will invalidate this area, and that will look as simple as the price finally breaking over this swing high. We broke over this one. We're waiting to break over this one, and then eventually when we break over this one, it will allow the price to finally go over 112K, which will open the pathway up to this green area. Once we have that bullish confirmation of finding a higher low right here, so this is low, overall higher low right here, because none of this fluctuation filled in any retracements whatsoever. No solid support. It was all just small fluctuations as the price goes up higher. We're starting to see now a more proper fluctuation. And if you guys remember on a recent video, I believe it was yesterday's, where I created the support area, basically just factoring in a dip, a high that could not pass the overall swing high right here. And then, of course, factoring in these 3 points gives us an area to keep an eye on where bearish momentum could lead to, and it will lead to a potential support area. Regardless, I'm keeping an eye on this area, primarily the blue. Uh, it'll be fine if Bitcoin goes underneath 107K. I believe any more weakness, it would just be a super quick recovery higher. I'm starting to slowly fade away from the purple area just because we have a lot of bullish momentum. Right now, we're testing support. If support can hold, it will let us go up much higher, try to max out this blue area, and it will lead us to finally the last step of going into the green and invalidating this area. Now, the reason I am accumulating, and it really doesn't matter, but the reason I'm accumulating more into that swing trade, and I'll probably add more very, very soon, is because I understand that just because we had a proper overall retracement happen in 2024 when we saw deep value Bitcoin opportunity, it doesn't have to happen now, and especially that now we're entering those later stages. Finally, I believe the end of tariff and inflation fears is just interest rate fears is all just about to end. We still have a few more months. I would not be surprised if we enter fall before we see the first rate cut in a while. Um, but basically, just overall, um, we're trying to test support. Support is very important right here. This is a very, very important area to keep an eye on. And I'm accumulating here because I am still conserving capital for potential deep value opportunity. And in my opinion, if the price comes down here, if it were to come down here, it will come down there very, very quickly. It's not going to take too long for it to come down into this area if it were to. And then we'll just see a quick recovery higher and then start, or not start, but continue the bull market higher. So it's just as simple as that, guys. I'm paying attention to the overall picture. I'm starting to accumulate a little earlier because if the price finally comes down into this area, it will not last, in my opinion, very, very long, and will be at much higher prices. So I want to accumulate early, allow myself to conserve capital to finish accumulating within this area. And then if we never go into this area, I still have a decent amount into that swing. Not as much as I want to. I want to add way more. I want to more than double that 30K position I have. But if it just doesn't happen and we find support and the price starts shooting up higher, I am more than happy with that position. It's still a really good position size. And I'll just let BitU go much, much higher and take advantage of, whatever price it wants to go to. And this is more money in my pocket, more money into other traders' pockets that are just decide to take their own approach with a similar just buying opportunity on their own risk tolerance as well, of course. But basically, I'm just repeating myself, but to summarize it all, we're in a very important support area. The support area, if it can hold, it will finally lead the price up in much higher prices. If it fails, it will allow a deep value buying opportunity that, in my opinion, again, I do not believe this area, if it were to happen, will last very long. And anyone that procrastinates, in my opinion, would just miss out on potentially buying Bitcoin underneath 100K one more time. But we do have a lot of bullish momentum, so I would not be surprised if support holds and then leads us into breaking these resistances and going into a new high. So I'm preparing for that potential. And of course, I'm also preparing for the potential of accumulating within this area. When it comes to short-term positions, we'll see where the price is at tomorrow. I might take a short-term long trade if support continues to hold, or if it shows strong nature of it holding. I'm not going to focus too much on short-term trading unless the opportunity is super clear. As of right now, we don't have a floor just yet, but we're holding support. We're in it. The RSI is discounted all the way. But it, of course, we can still see the RSI exhaust itself and go below the 30 mark, which will, allow Bitcoin to potentially even come into this blue area, to really find that overall major, more important retracement support that that's highlighted in blue. But yeah, guys, I'm accumulating early. I'm not accumulating too aggressively just yet. I'm allowing the price to do its thing and convince me to add more, but so far I really like where the support is at. But I am not ruling out deeper discount value until we have that bullish confirmation, which I explained earlier. And if we do have that deep value opportunity, I'm gonna be taking advantage of it super quick, because again, I personally just don't believe it's gonna last very long. Unlike last time we went into deep discount in Bitcoin. We traded in deep discount for quite a while, um, below 30k, below 80k, and it it lasted a while. But this one's much different in my opinion. I'm really keeping an eye on this area, and I'll keep you guys updated, of course. But at this moment, we're just waiting to see if short-term bullishness can hold, and then from there we'll continue forward and look at what opportunities we have. But I like where it's at. I like Bitcoin's price underneath 110k. I think it's very attractive. So I'm very much happy with having $30,000 invested into BitU at the moment. And I want to add a lot more if we get that deep value opportunity. I don't care if the price goes down and my trade value goes down. I do not care. I want to take it as a really solid last dip opportunity before Bitcoin goes much higher, and that's just my overall opinion. And I believe it can happen very quick, but it's all going to depend once again on support. So let's keep an eye on that, and I'll keep you guys updated. Hopefully you enjoyed, and take care.